Welcome to Regulate This, a really unfiltered podcast.
Welcome to Regulate This, an RIA-ly unfiltered podcast. As we navigate the complex world of compliance in your business, I'm Tracy Bear, and this is my very talented co-host, Layla Shaver.
What's up, y'all?
Today, we're going to bring some information to you that is all a buzz. We're going to talk about AI and its impact on the industry and you. Now, this is something that, isn't truly new because it's something we've all been talking about. I think a year or two ago is when the attorney got in trouble for using ChatGPT to analyze cases and to cite cases. Unfortunately for that attorney who relied on AI without using their own level of expertise, they cited cases that never existed. So it's not something new that we haven't heard of. It's something that's in the marketplace. It's also something that we're finding both heaven and hell with. We're finding things that make it something that can really enhance our lives, but we're also finding ways that if people use it improperly, it can also harm your business. So with that, let's talk about AI, Layla.
The concept of AI has been around forever. There was a movie with Haley Joel Osment where he was I think AI-based robot or something and lives, and just this whole movie about robots. And then there was the movie with Robin Williams, Bicentennial Man, that's what I'm thinking of, where he was a robot with AI, and then his journey to being human and being classified as human. Both kind of robots wanting to be human-esque. Interesting story, but these are movies that came out, early 2000s. I'm aging myself. This idea of AI has been around. If you're older, like I am, then you know that even goes further back to Arnold Schwarzenegger and this concept of robots taking over, these robots with artificial intelligence taking over. What's that movie? Matrix. Again, robots with artificial intelligence taking over. These ideas of AI have been around for a long time, and we're alive and well to see them playing out in our industry and every day. I mean, if you ask yourself, how many of you know someone or how many of you have accessed ChatGPT? Even if just once, just to see what it's about, right? Like, it's become such a part of the mainstream. And it's great because I'm seeing it now with our clients and other advisors. They've started using AI note takers to streamline note taking and to recap meetings and create summaries. We're seeing AI used in portfolio management, where advisors are creating these proprietary algorithms to read the marketplace and, identify different red flags or indicators that might give us an idea as to when there will be a market upturn or downturn and to be able to take advantage of that. Obviously, computers, AI is going to be much better at math, much faster at it than any of us could ever be. So it's exciting to see that. But I also see a lot of concerns from a compliance perspective with AI, from a legal perspective with AI, and frankly, just employees being concerned about whether AI is going to replace them in their positions. So lots of different ways AI is being used in a positive way, and a lot of different concerns as well.
That's true. In fact, I think the concerns can be almost twofold. On one hand, you have the employee that's likely concerned, is my job going away, or is it going to be reduced so much that it doesn't make sense for them to pay me what they're paying me now? Am I going to have to take on new things, and new things can be scary. For some people, a new challenge is something they live for, and for other people, it's things that they shy away from. From the employer's perspective, there's also the fear that will this for lack of better term, but dumb down the workforce? Will this make people more incompetent? Will this take away their motivation? You know, I just saw something in the news about college students. Now, we all know when we're in college, we're not at the point yet, customarily, if we're a traditional student that graduated from high school and went right into college, we're not completely mature yet. Our brains aren't completely formed yet. The logic and reasoning isn't completely formed yet. So when I share this, keep that in mind. That's a little bit different, hopefully, than your workforce. With that said, I saw something where students rebelled against the university because they couldn't turn in their homework for a day because ChatGPT was down. And so the excuse,
oh my God.
Yeah, the excuse that the students gave to an Ivy League school, mind you, was, well, ChatGPT was down, we couldn't do our homework. And so it's no longer the dog eating it, now it's the robot will perform. But I think with that being said, you know, there is some fear and trepidation around that. Like, if we start using AI too frequently, will we quit using our critical thinking at all? Will we stop being able to search and find and figure it out? Will we end up kind of not performing at all instead of being proactive? We go from being less than order takers at this point. We're just waiting for the computer to tell us what to do and what to be. So there's some of that fear and trepidation on the side of employers too, that if we open up AI, are we making it so that our staff will no longer critically think and allow things to fall through the cracks, or perhaps not be able to perform if the technology is offline or down? So that's something that, you know, people think about as well. I think on the former, where it's the employee worrying about their position, then you better find ways to make yourself indispensable. You better find ways to be a value add. I mean, there are a lot of things that are data entry positions that would go away. Somebody needs to enter the data, but beyond that, any of the analysis, a lot of it's not going to be done by that employee. You know, a lot of things where it's researching or scrubbing data, a lot of that can be done much more efficiently by technology than it can be by humans, with a lot less error. But with that said, I think there's also that opportunity that's out there where it's the human experience, the human connection. So many years ago, when Ameritrade was the thing, was like the big thing that was coming, and there was fear that it was going to eliminate financial advisors. Nobody would need them anymore. They could do it themselves and pay far less fees and have far more control, and so on and so forth. Well, the truth was, some people did that, some people wanted that, but the majority of people still wanted that human connection. They wanted that subject matter expert that could reassure them, that could give them the knowledge base that they didn't have, the experience that they didn't have, and help them find what was best suited for them based on the outcomes they were trying to achieve. And that still is needed today. But if you're relying on AI and not relying on your connection with the client, not relying on how to be proactive, not bringing extra value, you could end up eliminating yourself. What are you seeing, Layla, as kind of concerns?
Oh, I'm going to say something potentially controversial. Tracy, what's new? I think we're already seeing the repercussions of technology and people in the workforce not critically thinking. I think we're already seeing that. AI is taking it to another level, but I mean, think about it right now. I see this even with my own children. Mom, I want this. Okay. Amazon has same day delivery for it. Actually, it can be here in the next 2 hours because, you know, we live in the Atlanta metro area. So we've got a huge Amazon hub. They can do same day. They can do 2 hour. I mean, it's crazy how quickly they can get stuff delivered to your house. But everything is instant gratification. You want to know something? When my kids ask me a question, hey mom, do you know this random fact about this random dinosaur? No, I don't. Ask Alexa. Alexa, you know, tell me about this random dinosaur. And hopefully my Alexa doesn't respond. My Alexa's responding. Alexa, stop. You know, you can just get answers. You anything that comes to your mind, you just ask Google or you ask Alexa. And there you go, you got your answer. So I think to a certain degree, we're already seeing the repercussions of having answers right at your fingertips and not having to, like, I remember back in the day when I had a book report, I had to do research. I had to go to the library. I had to go pull the Encyclopedia Britannica. I had to go pull whatever books and read them and then analyze it and pull the information and data I needed from it. I mean, I didn't get my first computer till I was 13 years old. Meanwhile, my 2-year-old daughter has a tablet, only for car rides that are long distance so we can put on some Disney Plus. But I mean, it's so different. So I think we're already seeing this next generation of employees coming in, and even our older employees that we've hired in the past. Like, I think everyone's kind of, to a certain degree, become dumber. And not because they're actually unintelligent, but because there's so many resources right there that are instant that you can get the answer. People are not flexing those muscles of analyzation and critical thinking and looking more globally at a problem and trying to come up with multiple solutions, because they can just ask a device what they should do. I think AI is just going to take something that's already happening and make it more widespread and make it worse, frankly.
I tend to agree with you. I think it'll enhance what we're already doing and it'll take us to another level, but at the same time, it does it in spite of the employee. And it's making it so that people, because we're trying to become more efficient, more effective, streamlined, do so many things, even outside of AI, just with regular tech, to your point, that we're reducing the amount of input that comes from the actual human brain. And the majority of it is done through automation on the back end. And when people don't flex those muscles and aren't using them as frequently, it makes it much easier to let the computer think for them. The problem is when technology goes down and they're left to their own devices and they don't know how to do what they're asking technology to do. And part of using any instrument is understanding what it achieves and how it's kind of cutting the corners for you so that you're able to double check. Because the other thing that can happen is it can be wrong. You know, I mean, in the example I gave of the attorney that just blindly said, great, I'll cite these cases that you gave me and I'll never actually look and see if these are real cases and I'll actually send them to court. That person is a licensed attorney. That person's going to be sanctioned. That person is going to be publicly humiliated, which is why we all know about it, right? They could even end up losing their bar license if they aren't a zealous advocate and they're actually, following the rules of and procedures of the court. I think for most of us, we need to still have those ideas of what we need to do so that if technology goes down, the world doesn't end, right? Our life doesn't end. Our ability to honor the customer's needs and wants and desires doesn't end. That we still know how to do what we're supposed to do, and that we're double checking the work, that we're doing some level of analysis to make sure that something didn't happen in the technology or something didn't happen and a breakdown occurred somewhere in one of the plugins that we have, and now things are being miscoded or miscalculated, or it doesn't make sense, or there's a sentence that's hanging. Proofreading is still vital and is still important for us to make sure that we're doing. But I think one of the ways to combat the AI revolution is to really ensure that you're properly training and that you're not only training on the IQ stuff, the skill stuff, but the EQ stuff, the will, the connection, the rapport, the making sure that you have post-engagement and pre-engagement and engagement glide paths that allow you to have a connection with the client, that somebody is reaching out, that no matter how much automation you put in place, there's still a human connection and a human contact that they're able to reach out to and discuss things with so that they feel like they have an ally in building their financial future and financial freedom. Those are things that AI can't do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, right now, from a regulatory perspective, the expectation from the SEC and state regulators is that if you're using any sort of AI, there is a human being reviewing the output before it goes to the client. So, for example, something simple like an AI note taker. If you're using an AI note taker, the compliance requirement would be that the advisor or client services person, whoever's using that tool, reviews the output. Any of us who have ever used a transcription tool or AI note taker tool know that not everything translates perfectly. You've said one thing and the tool has read your lips and read it wrong, and it comes out with gobbledygook. So you want to make sure that you're reviewing and reading that output, whether it's a transcription, a summary, whatever the case may be, and that you're reviewing that before you use those notes or that summary and send it to the client. So that's the requirement from a compliance perspective. But I think the other thing you have to think about is be smart about the AI tools you're using. Every tool in their mama is adding an AI component. So you brought up the example, Tracy, of the lawyer. We use LexisNexis for case law. LexisNexis comes with AI now, right? I can go into LexisNexis and ask it a legal question and it'll pull actual case law for me, right? So that's great because I don't have to go into the law library and pull a book on, Georgia law and then go find that little pamphlet that comes out every year with all the updates that have happened to that case law and the regulation in the last year, right? I can just go into LexisNexis, use the AI tool Protege, and put in my question and it'll give me the feedback. So I think the other piece is understanding the AI tools you're using. Is it open sourced like ChatGPT? ChatGPT is looking at everything on the internet, everything all the smart people are saying, everything that the college professors are saying, everything that experts like, the SEC are saying, and it's also looking at the crazy people. The people who don't know their ass from a hole in the ground and they're out here with an opinion. It's looking at all of that, all open source, right? Everything on the internet and filtering to you a response. So it's not completely reliable. I will say this though, ChatGPT recently started putting source information on some of their responses, which is great, but you need to verify if you're going to use it. My rule of thumb is like, listen, use a closed source tool. For example, LexisNexis that has an AI. I know that when I use that AI tool, it's only looking at a defined pool of actual real legal cases. So I can rely on the AI tool there. You need to understand your AI tools. You need to understand the source of the AI tools. You need to understand how it's using your input and data. Do not put PII, personally identifiable information, into ChatGPT because it will use it. It will learn from it. It might spit it out to someone else. Do not do that. Do not use PII or non-public information in PI in your ChatGPT. I found out a few months ago ChatGPT has a business account you can use, and it specifically says it won't utilize your inputs to teach the algorithm. Hey, that's great. Maybe that's an extra step I can take. I can do a paid subscription with ChatGPT and at least make sure my data is not used to teach the algorithm, right? But that's where you need to do your due diligence. You need to understand how your data is being used, what it's being used for, how it's being archived and saved. You need to understand how is it learning from the inputs you're getting. You've got to do your due diligence like you would on any other tool or vendor. It comes back to my philosophy on compliance. Trust, but verify. Trust, but verify. I've had clients tell me, Layla, I just ran this question through ChatGPT, but I wanted to hear what you thought. And I just cringe almost as much as I cringe when someone tells me they went through LegalZoom. And I'm just like, oh, Lord Jesus, help me. Help me with this client, please. What is going to come out of his or her mouth? But it makes me cringe because of all the issues with ChatGPT just making up stuff or giving you answers that are not real because it's relying on sources that aren't always accurate or true. So, there are a lot of great things that these different AI tools are great for, right? You need help creating an SOP? Love it for SOP. You want it to help you write a desktop procedure? Great. have it help you write a desktop procedure. You want a checklist for new account opening process. It'll give you a really good starting point, right? Really good starting point. Still read through it, see what applies, what doesn't apply, but it can do stuff like that pretty well. But don't ask it for case law. Don't put in a client's data and ask it to analyze it. Don't do stuff like that.
I think too, another point with it is it's kind of like WebMD, right? I remember once putting symptoms in WebMD and it told me I was either dehydrated or I had a brain tumor. So it was one of those things. So, I take that with a grain of salt when I use that type of thing and say, okay, let me do some additional research. Now that it's giving me these two options, let me do some additional research and see, if I'm dehydrated, if I go and drink something with electrolytes and I, do all of the things I need to do, is that going to make me feel better? Or am I having floaters in my eyes and other issues? If that's the case, then maybe I need to make a doctor's appointment, right? But I think the point is that, that's a service that a lot of people use. But if you said that this is the end all be all and I'm never going to go to the doctor or I'm never going to do additional research, you could end up drinking, some Gatorade or Pedialyte thinking you're just dehydrated and you have a severe, medical condition, a brain tumor. Or you could spend your whole weekend or holiday or whatever time it is that you looked at this thinking I have a brain tumor and living your life out of fear and concern and anxiety and all of the things. It would be great if it meant you were living like every day was your last. So you are having a wonderful experience, but most of us would be filled with anxiety and the fear of loss and all of those things without really knowing if that's reality. So it's something that AI is something that can help you. It's something that can set you on a path. It's something that can help you polish the language that you're using and do those types of things. But it doesn't take away the human experience. It doesn't take away the need for critical thinking. It doesn't take away the need for additional research. By God, when I was young and was in the library and looking at microfiche, that's how long ago that was. I didn't just stop on the first thing I found. You keep looking, you keep trying to make sure that your research is valid before you say, well, I found something, I'll just go with that, right? I know some people that did, but the majority of us, right, that wanted to do good work or wanted to have success are going to make sure that we do adequate research and that we feel like what our premises is founded, or we're going to move in a different direction. So if you're using it that way, it can be a valuable resource. It can be something that helps you even learn how to better communicate, how to write better. It can help you learn how to identify the way to write processes and procedures if that's not something you're good at. It can help you with all of those things, but it's merely there to help. It's not there to replace you. And that's the thing that you have to remember. The clients that you have still want the experience with you. They still want to know that you have their back. They want to know that you understand their end goals. How you get there and the tools you use to get there are one thing, but make sure that you're still doing all of those things. Ingrain the client in the experience of you and your firm and of your team, because that's what'll make it so that they don't leave just because there's a new computer in town.
I think what a lot of people forget about is that decisions are emotional and they're emotionally driven. If we look at the market in general, right? We think interest rates are going to come down. Market's doing better. Oh no, we think tariffs are going to come out and they're going to increase tariffs. Oh, market goes down. The market's an indication of fear, right? The more fear there is, there's a tendency for the markets to drop. When there's less fear, they tend to rise. When there's good news, woo, market's up. When there's bad news, woo, market's down. It's fear-driven. The very thing that we look at for investing is fear-driven. So it's How would you not think that your clients are making emotional decisions when it comes to investing, when it comes to money, when it comes to their lifetime savings and what they're going to be able to leave behind to their family and what they're going to have to be able to live off of when they retire, or if they're able to retire? So to your point, because this is such an emotionally driven industry, in my opinion, where your clients are here because they need help, they want someone that they know, like, and trust, they want someone who can help them and make them feel secure, then AI is never going to be able to replace that human interaction, that heart to heart, having those difficult conversations, being there when the market turns, and having that conversation and talking your clients off the ledge. AI can't do that. It doesn't have emotions.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Layla. And I think, to that point, keep investing in the people. Keep investing in the, client experience. Invest in training your people how to give white glove service. White glove service doesn't mean they're giving away everything for free. I mean, people love free stuff, but they forget about it as soon as they get it. The easiest way to see that is having a young child that you buy everything you can imagine for Christmas, and then they play with the damn box, right? Like, you threw elbows at the department store to get the damn Tickle Me Elmo that is nobody can find, and then the kid wants the box, right? So, the point is, you've got to make sure that you're investing in the things and connecting with people in the way that will make them want to do business with you in the future, and utilize those tools to become more efficient or to become more effective, but utilize them smartly. Utilize them with the end game in mind, realizing that this is just another tool. It's kind of like a calculator. Most of us used to be able to do math in our head, and then the calculator came, and then it got to be on our phone, so it's with us nonstop, and we no longer needed to do math. But the problem is, when we have to do something quickly in our head, you see people at the table trying to figure out the tip. It's almost comical, right? Don't let that happen with AI. Let it be a resource or a tool that adds efficiencies, that helps you with training, that helps you do streamlining, but doesn't take out critical thinking and doesn't take out the human experience, because those are the things that can't be replaced in the end. So with that, we ask that you continue to tune in to Regulate This. Stay informed, stay compliant. Let's regulate this together. Tune in wherever you subscribe to your podcast. It could be Spotify or Apple, but subscribe today, because every other week, where we explore essential topics, share real-world insights, and provide actionable tips to help you stay compliant in today's fast-paced environment. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, there's something for everyone. We'll see you next time.